Donald Trump, in a fiery virtual address to global business leaders gathered in Davos, Switzerland, launched a sharp critique of Bank of America. Hello and welcome to GBN Originals. I'm Christys. So, Donald Trump has once again stirred the pot with a blistering attack on some of America's biggest financial institutions. Speaking virtually to the gathered elite at the World Economic Forum, the president accused major banks of discriminating against conservative businesses. Now, let's be clear, this wasn't just a passing comment. Trump took aim directly at Bank of America and JPMorgan Chase, two of the largest banks in the US. He claimed these financial giants are actively blocking conservative businesses from accessing their services. Well, Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan asks Trump a seemingly innocuous question about economic growth. Trump starts off with praise, saying, "Hey, Moynihan, you're fantastic, what a guy." But then, in true Trump fashion, he flips the script. "I hope you start opening your banks to conservatives," Trump declared, his voice rising. "They don't take conservative business." The response from Moynihan? Silence. Absolute crickets. He didn't even attempt to address the accusation. Instead, he pivoted to talk about the World Cup. Hey, if in doubt, always bring up the football. But let's take a look, shall we, at what was actually said.
Speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
Mr. President, I'll say that your friend Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to sponsoring the World Cup when it comes both this summer for the club and next year. So thank you for getting that for the United States.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Now, of course, the banks aren't taking this lying down now. Bank of America spokesperson Bill Haldon came out swinging. He said, "We serve more than 70 million clients. We welcome conservatives and have no political litmus test." This isn't just Trump being Trump. These accusations align with claims from conservative state attorney generals who've been crying foul for months. They say Bank of America has been debanking Christian organizations and engaging in politically discriminatory practices. And it's not just talk. These accusations have intensified following the bank's compliance with FBI and Treasury Department investigations into transactions after the January 6th Capitol riot. Now, I'm not saying there's a smoking gun here, but it certainly raises some eyebrows, doesn't it? So let's zoom out for a moment. This isn't just about Trump or Bank of America. This is about a growing trend that's been bubbling under the surface for years. We've seen more and more cases of what some are calling financial cancellation. First Lady Melania Trump last year discussed the challenges she faced post-White House, revealing how her political affiliations led to punitive measures from service providers, including her bank and an email service provider. Melania Trump recounted specific instances, including a bank abruptly ending their business relationship with her and an email provider terminating her agreement, both allegedly due to her political beliefs. She also shared how a university rejected her philanthropic donations for foster student scholarships upon learning of her involvement, emphasizing the broader harm caused by such decisions, particularly to vulnerable communities. I was going to make a joke there about how beggars can be choosers, but that might be seen as quite insensitive. This phenomenon of service denial is increasingly being used as a political weapon, raising concerns about the neutrality of service providers and the implications for free speech in a polarized era. Now, imagine that you wake up one morning and suddenly your bank account's closed, your email address is shut down, all because someone doesn't like your politics. It's the stuff of dystopian novels, isn't it? But it also happened over here with Nigel Farage. Does everyone remember that? This isn't just about the Trumps or any individual conservative figure for that matter. This is about the very foundations of our free society. When banks and other essential service providers start picking and choosing who they'll do business with based on political beliefs, well, we're treading on very dangerous ground, aren't we? Because it's all subjective. In today's world, access to banking services isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Without a bank account, how do you get paid? How do you pay your bills? How do you function in modern society? Now, okay, some people might still receive cash all the time, but not most people, and we're increasingly being funneled into the online world. And it's not just banking. We're seeing this trend across a variety of different sectors. So what does all of this mean? Well, for starters, it raises serious questions about the neutrality of our financial institutions, their political bias. That's an important point. Are banks becoming political actors? If so, what does that mean for our democracy? Moreover, it highlights the growing polarisation in our society. We're no longer just disagreeing on policies. We're reaching a point where different political camps can't even do business with each other. Is this really the kind of society we want to live in? I would also say it's about control, isn't it? If we have a society that directly pushes everyone towards an online world, an online financial world, we are reliant as individuals now that all of our finances are accessible online. And then someone can turn that off or stop you accessing it, basically consign you to a life of destitution and poverty, meaning that you miss mortgage payments, maybe you can't pay your kids' school fees, maybe you can't pay the finance on your car or whatever it is. Well, that's control, isn't it? You have to comply with the political zeitgeist of the day, otherwise you find yourself destitute. It's concerning stuff. So where do we go from here? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it, if you can access it? On one hand, private businesses have the right to choose who they do business with. Fair enough. On the other hand, when those businesses are providing essential services, don't they have a responsibility to serve someone, regardless of their political beliefs? Would you walk into a hospital and expect to not get treatment because you voted for Donald Trump? Well, no. Is this not quite a similar thing? Perhaps what we need now is a new framework, a set of rules that ensures everyone has access to essential services while still respecting the rights of private businesses. It's a delicate balance, but one we need to strike if we want to maintain a functioning pluralistic society. So let's round this off, shall we? In the end, this story is about much more than Donald Trump or Bank of America. It's about the kind of society we want to live in. Do we want a world where your political beliefs determine whether you can have a bank account or not? Or do we want a society where we can disagree politically, but we can coexist and we can do business together? As we grapple with these questions, one thing is clear. The line between politics and business is becoming increasingly blurred. And as it does, we all need to be vigilant in protecting our rights and our freedoms and push back where we see fit. This is Patrick Christys. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget, please, to subscribe to GB News YouTube for more.
At GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. So by becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please do consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.